Hello and welcome. I'm Abhishek Singh. You're watching the Hindustan Times. Just hours ago, air raid sirens rang out in Chandigarh and Patiala. The alerts came in just hours after India thwarted a missile and drone attack by Pakistan on 3 military bases. Jammu sky was lit up last night as Indian air defense intercepted Pakistani drones and Hamas-style rockets. We were with you last night, live, joined by civilians from their homes, sitting in complete darkness because of the blackout. They told us how Pakistan's actions are not just causing inconvenience to them, but in the artillery firing, several innocent Indians have been killed and several others have been injured. Amid all this, there are reports of all kinds floating around on social media that Indian Rafales have been down, India has hit Karachi port, that the NSAs of the two countries have spoken. A lot of it is misinformation, just plain propaganda. To clear the air on all of it and to talk to us about the latest and the way forward, I am joined by my senior colleague, Mr. Shishir Gupta, Executive Editor, Hindustan Times. Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking the time and talking to us. So, today in the morning, air raid sirens went off in Patiala and Chandigarh. This has come in just hours after what we were talking about last night. Both of us were live. We spoke, we talked about what was happening in Jammu. So before we start talking about what happened in Jammu last night, let's quickly talk about the air raid sirens going off in Patiala and Chandigarh.
See, the air raids currently that are going on or that have taken place in the past 1 hour is basically as an alert. These are basically whenever you see a threat of something that is coming towards you, the civil defense, as on instructions of the armed forces, decides to launch an alert. The siren is basically to communicate that you should be on alert, something is headed your way. But that does not mean that the attack is imminent or that the attack has taken place. This is just a precautionary measure, the first step that is taken. And that is why the air raid sirens are there, because what has happened last night and the previous night after India attacked Pakistan on its terror infrastructure as a response to the Pahalgam massacre.
Right. And just a few minutes ago, we got an update that IPL has been postponed indefinitely. What is the threat perception at this point in time, considering IPL, of course, was somewhere in the middle? There was still plenty of matches to go. And the decision has been taken after, of course, a match was stopped last night in Dharamsala, that IPL has now been postponed indefinitely.
See, the IPL has been postponed because nobody wants to take any chance, because currently it's an evolving situation. Operation Sindoor is still on, and one should be prepared for the worst case scenario. It's not that they are expecting any attack on the cricket matches. Yesterday, when this match in Dharamshala was stopped and there was blackout over there, was a response of the local authorities after there was a drone attack by the Pakistanis in Jammu Pathankot sector. This was a precautionary measure. This does not mean that Pakistan is hell-bent on attacking IPL. It's just a precautionary measure. I mean, there could be one option would be that you could have moved the IPL to South India, moved it further from the border. Yesterday, when it happened in Dharamshala, it was because of the drone and the missile attack on, particularly in Jammu, Udhampur and the other bases down in Punjab.
Right. And talking about last night, sir, we were live. We heard from some of the civilians who were there in Jammu along with their families, sitting in complete darkness. One thing which India has made very clear to Pakistan, that we are not interested in attacking your civilians, whether it is infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, or even for that matter, even your military infrastructure. But what we have noticed on this side of the border, several Indians are dead. As per the last few reports that I checked, around 30 are dead, several others are injured. Jammu civilians were scared. At the same time, they were confident because in the Jammu sky, they can see for themselves Indian air defense neutralizing Pakistani drones and missiles. But talking about what Pakistan attempted to do in Jammu, if you can throw some more light on what exactly Pakistan was trying to do in Jammu and if this should be seen as an escalation by India.
There are two battle theatres currently that were going on. One is on the LOC where there is cross-border firing, where there is death on the Indian side because of Pakistan artillery firing. The other theatre is of the missile as well as the drone attacks which Pakistan has undertaken south of the LOC, which is more on the international border. So there are two different places, and let me tell you very clearly, despite all the hangama last night, the Indian air defense artillery managed to stave away every attack of the Pakistanis. There has been no damage south of the LOC. There has been no casualty south of the LOC on the Indian side. Let me be very clear on that. So, but the whole thing is that the moment you start blackout and the moment you see air sirens, you know, the mood, the tempo goes up, and you know, public actually starts, you know, getting very anxious. But the fact remains is that India managed to rebuff everything that was thrown at them by Pakistan yesterday night as well as early this morning.
Right. And of course, we saw that in the reports which, you know, came in a little later of the number of drones and missiles which were neutralized. But having said that, sir, there is a lot of misinformation which is floating around on social media. Some of those questions were posed to the Foreign Secretary during the press conference which was held earlier. Some points have been clarified, but there is still some confusion. So I'll send some questions your way. Please feel free to address whichever you think should be addressed, and we don't have to address anything which we don't have to at this point in time. Having said that, sir, one of the reports claimed that, you know, Indian Rafale has been down. How close to what might have happened is that?
My understanding is that report is factually incorrect. It's mischievous and misleading. Let me tell you something more than this. We are quite confident that the Indian air defense system have brought down, I am not talking in plural terms, have brought down a Pakistani aircraft in last night's skirmishes. Okay, the Indian Air Force Air Defense shot at two Pakistani fighters, and there is very strong probability that the Pakistan fighters have gone down, but I personally do not have any confirmation or evidence that one can be shown to the public. I am telling you, this is at the highest level where there is confirmation that we have definitely brought down a Pakistani fighter.
Right. And a theory which has been pushed forward and discussed, you know, with great zest from people from both sides of the border, and the theory is that last night Pakistan was probing. It wasn't really an attack. Pakistan was probing where India's air defense systems are, and perhaps the attack will come after. Do you think after doing what Pakistan has done and what we have retaliated with, Pakistan will dare escalate this further?
See, Pakistan is currently facing a problem.
In other words, sir, I'm asking you, is the worst over?
The worst definitely is not over. Okay? Because Pakistan has a problem in General Asim Munir. General Asim Munir thinks that he is cut out from the same cloth as Field Marshal Ayub Khan, General Yahya Khan, General Pervez Musharraf, and he thinks he has the legacy of that. He is in a corner right now, and the only way out is that he will fight it out. Whether he wins, which is the least possible thing, but definitely he will fight it out, because he thinks this is the only way to show that Pakistan army is actually what Pakistan is all about. So the worst is not over. This will continue. India, on the other hand, is in no mood to de-escalate unilaterally. It has no intentions of giving a free hall pass to General Asim Munir. India will retaliate, which is going to be directly proportional to the response coming from Pakistan. So I think we are for a long haul, and it is for Pakistan to take a decision and de-escalate. India will only respond just like it responded to the Pahalgam massacre in the very first place. So you're looking for darker days, darker nights, but let me tell you one thing very clearly. At the end, India will be the winner.
Right. And another rumor, another propaganda, at least another unverified bit of information that I want your comment on is that the Indian Navy attacked the Karachi port last night.
The Indian Navy has not been told to go in action. Let me be very clear. There was no attack from the Indian Navy on Karachi last night. That is the fact. Indian Navy is in a very dominant position in the Arabian Sea. It can be pushed into action at any moment of time. It's all prepared for it. But Indian Navy is keeping its powder dry, and barring the loitering ammunition of Indian Navy which was used after India responded to the Pahalgam massacre, Indian Navy has not come into action. Currently the action is only with the Indian Army on the LOC, Indian Army Air Defence Artillery, and the Indian Air Force is fully in the action.
Right. And what do you think of India's efforts to educate the public, the global public, about what is happening between India and Pakistan? Because Pakistan has been trying to position itself as a victim of some sort. Fact of the matter is that India was responding to Pakistan's aggression. And the reason I ask you this question is because Indian ambassadors now in US and UK and other countries are going to TV channels and explaining to the audience and people of those countries what has exactly happened on the ground. So what do you think of this effort? How well are we doing? Should we do more?
See, the Narendra Modi government is not seeking publicity on any count. Let me tell you very clearly, the Prime Minister has been up since we responded to the Pahalgam massacre. He is in totally control of the situation. The national security planners are all there 24/7. The 3 service chiefs are there, the CDS is there, the defense minister is there, the entire setup is there, and they are talking to everybody. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is talking to his counterparts. NSA Ajit Doval has been talking last night and the previous night to all the people he knows, and he's been conveying what is happening on ground. Now let me tell you, unlike Khwaja Asif or unlike Abdullah Tarar or unlike Shehbaz Sharif, these people are the Indian civilian political leadership is in total control of the Indian armed forces, and the two discuss and then take action. Unlike in Pakistan, where the civilian political leadership has nothing to do what's happening, so they are seen more on TV studios like you and me.
Right, sir. And some of the reports are suggesting that India's Operation Sindoor has resulted in neutralizing around a dozen high-value terrorists, including Abdul Rauf Azhar, the operational head of Jaish-e-Mohammed and mastermind of the IC-814 hijacking.
See, Abhishek, my information says that Mufti Abdul Rauf Asghar, the younger brother of Maulana Masood Azhar, and the younger brother of Athar Ibrahim Alvi, the main orchestrator of the IC-814 attack, is alive and kicking. Okay. Intelligence reports indicate that his phone is working and he is on the network. Now, this report that Mufti Rauf Asghar was the main orchestrator of either IC-814 or the man who killed Daniel Pearl is incorrect. Daniel Pearl was done to death by Omar Saeed Sheikh of Harkatul Ansar. IC-814 hijacking was handled by Maulana Masood Azhar's elder brother Athar Ibrahim Alvi. So, there is no question that Mufti Rauf Asghar is dead. Mufti Rauf Asghar is the man who is behind the 2016 Pathankot attack and the 2019 Pulwama attack. Given that Maulana Masood Azhar is now more into sermons because of his health issues, Mufti Rauf Asgar is currently the chief operational commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed. My understanding is that this man, this monster is alive.
All right. Hopefully, justice will be served to him as well at some point in time. Having said that, sir, at this point in time, the last question that I have for you is the desperate situation Pakistan finds itself in. In fact, there were some reports doing the rounds in the morning. Of course, it was refuted later that Pakistan is looking for money from, several agencies, IMFs, etc., while fighting this war with us. Of course, those reports were refuted later because apparently the account of Pakistan's, one of its agencies was hacked and this tweet was put out. But having said that, looking at the economic condition of Pakistan, how long can Pakistan sustain this?
See, the longer Pakistan wants to extend these skirmishes, the more it will pay. India is in no mood to back out of anything. As I said, our response will be directly proportional to what Pakistan throws at us and at any level. Now, we are talking at various spectrums of war. There is this one war that is being waged at the level of 40-50,000 feet, which is the manned platforms. And let me tell you, Abhishek, neither India nor Pakistan have used any manned platform. When I'm talking manned platform, I'm talking about fighters, yes, to cross the border. Pakistan has been flying on its side, India has been flying on our side. Our Air Force is flying. Then there is another spectrum which is basically missiles. So Pakistan has been using air-to-air missiles like the one that was recovered from Hoshiarpur. That's a Chinese missile. So what you see is a whole lot of Chinese equipment displayed by Pakistan, whether it is JF-17 fighters, whether it is the J-10 fighters, whether it is PL-15 missiles, PL-12 missiles. Pakistan has been using that. India has got its air defense artillery up. It has got its S-400 missiles up, but S-400 missiles are not used at things which are sort of not worth the effort, because each missile is costing into crores of rupees. Right. So they will only go for the high value targets, and that would be perhaps the Pakistan F-16, the Pakistan JF-17 and the Pakistan J-10. So this is what is happening. And then there is this other thing that is happening, which is that what kind of there is then this drone, then there is another level where you see loitering ammunition. So you have multiple spectrums that are being played out currently, and India is responding to everything in the same manner which is being thrown from Pakistan, and that it will continue to do so. But given the economic situation of Pakistan, and given that Pakistan has approached the IMF for additional loans and all, it is very difficult for Pakistan to sustain a long-term skirmish, battle or a war. India is all set and all ready.
Also, sir, there are reports going around that apparently the NSAs of the two countries spoke. Did they?
The Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has been speaking to a lot of people, whether it is US, whether it is China, whether it is UK, whether it is France and other countries. To my understanding, Ajit Doval has not spoken to the current DGISI and acting National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Asim Malik. And there is no reason for India to speak to him right now, because this will be seen a sign of Indian weakness that we are approaching them. It is for them to call up Ajit Doval, and they know his number.
What are the chances of Pakistan getting balkanized this time around?
Pakistan getting balkanized is another issue. It's another spectrum. We'll discuss that later, because if you go by what is coming all over in the TV channels and all, that is not what it is happening. Okay, Pakistan army is quite in control of at least Punjab and Sindh. Okay. You know, there is an issue in Balochistan, there is an issue on the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region, there is an issue. But to say that Pakistan is going to get balkanized, I don't think so, seriously, not now. And perhaps it is in nobody's interest to balkanize Pakistan.
All right. So we will keep a close eye on the developments. And of course, we will speak again. But thank you so much for taking the time, sir, and addressing some of the misinformation which is floating around. And of course, talking to us in detail about what happened last night in Jammu and of course today in several border areas of Punjab. On that note, thank you so much, sir.